A wonderful Wednesday. Yes, on Wednesdays, I'm going to be a bit early because I have a coaches meeting right at 11, but I don't want you to think that I forget about you. So I'm going to be going a little bit early on Wednesdays. Today, I want to talk about doing things for our future self. What would you do for your future self? Would you include more movement? If that's something, I'm going to give you some tips on that before we end today. Would you drink more water? My water glass is empty. I need to get more. Would you remind yourself of your identity more often? If, like I said yesterday, we're going to start with our total body fitness, starting from the tip of our heads and what's going on between our ears, as far as what your identity is as a beloved child of God. I want to tell you a story. When my sister and I were younger, this would have been about first grade for me. We walked from where we went to school up to the high school where my dad worked. My dad was a coach and a teacher, a football coach and a basketball coach up there. Anyway, we were walking up from our school up to the high school one day, and there were some bullies across the street. And we lived in Riverton, Wyoming, so there was some snow, and they were picking up some snowballs. They were going to pelt us with some snowballs. And then one of them said, wait a minute. That's Coach Burgess's daughters. And instantly they put those snowballs down and just carried on. And my sister and I, we just giggled. We just felt so empowered, so encouraged, and so proud of our dad, our family. I would love for you to think about yourself with the same mindset, or sometimes I use lenses. Put on the lenses of being a beloved child, and think about everything that includes in the armor of Christ. And use that story, that illustration story that I gave us, to remind ourselves, wait a minute, our enemy knows who our papa is. Our enemy knows that. My question is, do you know what that means for you? I'm going to read from a book by Priscilla Shirer. Paul prayed for us. Paul asked the Lord to open our eyes more fully, and we're going to be praying that in our challenge, that in our weeks of our challenge, that we would have our eyes opened more fully, so that we not only detect the enemy's activity, we see those fiery darts as what they are, their lies coming at us, but also become fully aware of the tools God has given us to disarm and defeat him in our lives. That is so exciting, isn't it? We do not have to be bullied by the bully, the biggest bully of all. We are the beloved children of God, staying in touch with who he is. He is the creator of the world. He is the manufacturer. We refer to the owner's manual from the manufacturer. Our scripture is the owner manual from our manufacturer. And Paul prays for us so that our eyes would be opened. I am praying for you too in that. And I'm looking forward to our challenge that's coming up in the middle of September. Stay connected here. Stay connected on Shifting Inside Out. I put that at the bottom of my screen. Those of you who are not in our private Facebook group, I want to welcome you in because that's where that challenge is going to happen. Now, I started by asking you, what would you do for your future self? Think about her. Think about that person that is vibrant, that person that has moved past the brain fog, that person that has moved past the exhaustedness, that person that has moved past that discouragement. What would you do for her today? Would you make sure that you have a water system in place? Drink half your body weight in ounces of water. Would you make sure that you would do that? Let me know in the comments of this video. Give me a picture of a water glass. Give me a picture of someone moving. Would you include 10 minutes of movement or 15 minutes of movement? I've been doing HIIT, high intensity interval training. It takes me 10 minutes. I work hard, I push hard in whatever the movement is for 50 seconds and I rest for 10. Push hard for 50, rest for 10. Push hard for 50, rest for 10. Actually, rest for 40. And then I do 3 rotations of that. I'm loving it. Ooh, and I'm finding that I've got some muscles that are being paid attention to now. So would you, for your future self, would you make sure you had a water system in place? Would you make sure you had a movement system in place? Would you make sure that you were tasting your food? Whatever it is you are eating, that you're slowing down enough that you're actually tasting your food. That means you're not eating while you're behind the wheel in the car. That also means that you're not eating standing up, but that you're actually sitting down and you're actually tasting and savoring. Try starting with those 3 steps: water, movement, and slowing down when you are eating whatever the food is that you are eating. There are 3 simple ways to begin as we're moving toward our challenge. I'm giving you a glimpse of what's coming. Let me know what you would like to do for your, and lastly, most importantly, fill up your mind with the truth of who you are. You are the king's kid. He took off his armor and he's handed it over to us. We're going to explore what each one of those pieces of armor means for us and the difference that it makes when we are suited up in that armor. So as we're moving forward toward this challenge that begins in the middle of September, thank you for joining me. Let me know what action step you're going to take on behalf of your future self, who is vibrant, full of energy, has less pain, and cleared up her brain fog. What a great future we all have, right? Thank you so much for listening in, and I will see you again tomorrow.